Welcome friends to my channel Knowledge Hub. Let's learn together. In today's topic, we will discuss frequency of tests for different materials. Now we will see one by one. First is soil. It is core cutter test. For core cutter test, frequency at every 100 meter square compacted area for small field filling or at every 500 m3 compacted area for mass filling work. Remember that this is the area mentioned, that is frequency is based on area mentioned. So core cutter test is taken at every 100 meter square of compacted area for small filling and at every 500 m3 for mass or larger filling work. Standard proctor is taken for each and every source of earth. Whenever we procure earth from different sources, every time we have to take that standard proctor test. This is as per relevant IS code IS 2720. Now, coarse aggregate or fine aggregates. For coarse aggregate or fine aggregates, specific gravity. Specific gravity is as whenever we change the source of material, we brought material from different sources, then we have to do that specific gravity test. This is as per IS 2386 part 3 1963. Bulking of sand. Bulking of sand is mainly done in monsoon or rainy seasons when concreting is done by volumetric patching, mixer or other things. This test is very important. It is performed daily and necessary bulking of sand or bulking of correctively applied for water content to be verified. So bulking of sand is done in monsoon and rainy season when each and every concreting done. This is as per IS 2386 part 3 1963. Now we will check dry or loose bulk density. This test is done as and when required. This is as per IS 2386 part 3 1963. Silt content in sand. Silt content in sand is done for each and source. Whenever we brought sand from any source, for each source we need to take this silt content test. If the source explodes between 501 to 1500 cubic meter, take 1 graph sample at each 100 cubic meter, and if the source explodes between 1500 and above up to 5000 cubic meter, then take 1 gross sample for each 200 cubic meter. Remember this. This is as per IS 2386 part 1 1963 and IS 2386 part 4 1997. Sieve analysis of aggregate, aggregate crushing value, flakiness index, thickness test. These are taken as per this frequency, means for each source. If the source is explored from 501 to 1500 cubic meter, 1 gross sample at each 100 cubic meter, and if the source explored between 1500 cubic meter to 5000 cubic meter, take 1 gross sample for each 200 cubic meter. For bricks, visual check is done for every 20 number of bricks selected from the truck or tractor, whatever. That is 6 to 7 bricks from each and every trolley or tractor. Dimension check, same, 20 number of bricks to be selected from truck or tractor. That is 6 to 7 bricks from each tractor or truck. Water absorption. Water absorption is done for each source for random 3 numbers to be tested from 20 numbers of bricks selected compressive strength. Same for each source random 3 numbers to be tested for 20 numbers of bricks and selected. This is done as per IS 5454 1978. Plaster. For plaster, we have to check mortar cubes to be taken every day. Whatever daily we do plastering work, for that daily work we have to take mortar cubes. For cement, that is fineness, modular, standard, consistency, setting time, compressive strength and soundness test. Manufacturer's test certificate or laboratory is required, as well as for each batch received at site we need to do fineness of cement, standard, consistency, setting time, compressive strength and soundness test. Every batch we receive at site. When we receive cement as 200 bags, 400 bags, 500 bags, whatever, or in bulk also. This is as per IS 3535 1986, IS 4031 1999, Part 2, 1995 IS 1995, IS 4031 Part 4, IS 4031 2000 Part 5, IS 4031 2000 Part 6, IS 4031 Part 3 2000. And now reinforcement steel. For reinforcement steel, rolling margin. First we see rolling margin. Rolling margin for bar diameter is less than 10 meter. One sample of each bar. One sample of each bar from 25 tons. One sample from each 25 tons or part thereof. And for bar diameter 10 millimeter to 16 millimeter, one sample from each 35 ton or part thereof. Just remember one thing, lesser than 10 meter, one sample from 25 tons, and from 10 mm to 16 mm, one sample from 35 ton or part thereof. For diameter above 16 mm, one sample from each 45 ton or part thereof. For 16 mm, one sample from each 45 ton, and one sample consists of 3 number of bars for at least 0.5 meter to 1 meter length. One sample consists of at least 3 numbers of bars from at least 0.5 meter to 1 meter length. This is as per IS 1786 1985. Tensile test, elongation test, bend rebend test. For this also manufacturing test certificate or test report from outside laboratory is required. For each lot, for these tests, for each lot at site, at least 50 metric ton, one sample. For every 50 metric ton, one sample is required. Mechanical coupler. Whenever you use couplers for labs, then there is also test, pull out test, chemical analysis. There are also manufacturer test certificates required or test report from outside laboratory required. For this pull out test and chemical analysis, 0.5% of project quantity and 0.25% of project quantity. Means for pull out test, 0.5% of project quantity, 0.5% of total couplers required for the project, and for chemical analysis, 0.25% of the total couplers are required for that project. Structural steel, it is rolling margin, is one sample of each 20 metric ton part thereof. Is for structural steel. For rolling margin test, we require one sample of for each 20 metric ton structural steel. For tensile test, elongation, bend rebend test, it is as per IS 2062 1992. For admixture, to be tested every change of source. Whenever we change source of admixture, we have to test. It is as per IS 9103 1999. For water, to be tested for every change in source and monthly in monsoon. It is as per IS 456 2000. For calibration of test equipment, as per frequency set in vendor's manual. For calibration, we have to check as per frequency set in vendor's manual. We check for concrete tests, that is slump count test, compressive strength. For each concrete cube test, for cube samples shall be taken from each grade of concrete following daily concrete quantity. Slump count is taken. Slump test is taken for each source of concrete. Whenever a mixer or miller is come through mixer or miller, we have to take slump test of that each source of concrete. And for compressive strength, we have to take the cube samples. That cube samples are taken as per quantity following daily concrete. For example, for quantity 1 to 5 cubic meter, one sample, one number is taken. For 6 to 15, it is 2 samples taken. For 16 to 30 cubic meter, 3 samples are taken. For 31 to 50, 4 samples are taken. For 51 and above, 4 plus additional. For every 50 cubic meter, 1 sample is taken. One sample here is 6 number of cubes. Please remember this thing, that for one sample 6 number of cubes are considered. For one sample, every bar consists 12 number of cubes. There are 3, 15, 28, 35 days of columns and 3 each of 5, 15, 28, 35 days of slabs. Standard deviation to be taken every month. The frequency is to maintain for initial period till consistent results are obtained. It may be reduced as per engineer in charge decision. Now consider this: whenever we concrete we purchase or we buy concrete from RMC or other source or from our own batching plant also, we have to take a slump test first. Then for compressive strength, as mentioned, this is per cubic meter 1 sample, means 1 to 5 1 sample, 6 to 15 2 sample, 16 to 33 samples, 31 to 50 4 samples, 50 and above 4 plus additional 1 sample per 50 cubic meter. This is as per IS 456 2000, IS 1199, IS 1999, IS 516 1999. Now we will check the frequency of calibration of equipments. This is the name of equipment, elements of calibration. Calibration is in frequency of calibration. For total station, it is yearly or change of site calibration is required. It is done at site. For leveling instrument, it is also yearly or change of site. It is done at site. For measuring weights, elements of calibration, weighing capacity, we have to check. Then our outside agency, and frequency yearly or change of site. For cube testing machine, manually operated, pressure or load gauge should be checked. It is done by head office, regional office, or our own companies, and it is done on yearly or change of site. For oven, thermometer is checked. It is by HRO and yearly change of site. This is the main calibration. These frequencies are indicative. In case of intermediate deviations or repairs or immediate calibration shall be undertaken. This is thus the shown only indicative one. If any damage or repair done, we have to take calibration at that time. So we have checked this frequency of this test. So keep watching my videos. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.